Welcome to a new episode of The Startup Show. Today we're here in Berlin and I'm super excited to meet with the CEO and co-founder of BridgeMaker, Henrike. Welcome to The Startup Show.
Welcome.
Welcome to a new episode of The Startup Show. Today we are here in Berlin and I'm super excited to meet with Henrike, who is the CEO and co-founder of BridgeMaker. Also super excited to have a live audience here for the first time. That's super exciting. Henrike, as usual on The Startup Show, you get about a minute to introduce yourself to my audience. And I'm super excited to hear everything about you.
Thanks again for having me here. So first of all, I'm the CEO of BridgeMaker and I'm also the co-founder. So I founded BridgeMaker 1 year ago, so the official start was 1 year ago. The whole idea how to bring corporates and startups together, innovate for a longer time. So before I founded BridgeMaker, I was on the investor side. I invested in startups. I learned a lot about success factors in startups, do's and don'ts. What are the key success factors to bring a startup forward and to invest in that. And before that, I learned a lot on the corporate side, also corporate innovation side. How are they doing that? Because I was in consultancy with goetzpartners in Munich for more than 3 years. So I had a very good insight in the corporate world. Mm-hmm. And before that, I was involved into founding in my own company or a company. So I also know this entrepreneurial spirit. And also during my studies, I studied economics. I was always curious why people are founding companies. So is it culture related? Is it family related? Or what it is all about? So my whole life had a touch of entrepreneurial things, but on different stages.
What's interesting about you were a founder, you were in corporate, you now have a company builder. Is there any, specific thing that you say this is what fascinates me and what gets me up every morning?
I think it's the thing, building new things, building something, creating something, bringing something on the road then and kickstart new things, getting things into a new mode, something like that. Yeah.
Sure. So let's talk a little bit about BridgeMaker, which is your latest venture, I guess.
Right.
What do you do? Company building is kind of a new term that came up in the last few years. Finley was the first company builder that I had here on the show, so it's super exciting that we have another one. Maybe explain a little bit to my audience what you exactly do here at BridgeMaker.
So BridgeMaker is a bit different from all the other company builders which exist here.
I hope so.
So we have the USP. So what they all have in common, they are helping startups to kickstart their business. So for example, we are helping them with all the shared services, for example, providing legal documents, having HR support, recruiting support, do all the finance stuff for them. So they can really focus on the product. What our special USP is here within BridgeMaker, we are always founding companies together with the corporate. Mm-hmm. So we are bringing the corporate on board. It's BridgeMaker then. We're founding and hiring a founder team. Mm-hmm. So we're really entrepreneurial setup with the corporate on board. Because the corporate world and also the startup world has very specific USPs and also very specific knowledge things. For example, the corporate brings in to have the knowledge of their product things and also technology, and they have the sales and they have the client base. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, they are lacking the speed. Yep. The agility, what the startup bring into that. And we believe for the society, it's very important to innovate the corporate side and also the hidden champion side. And this is something in my bigger vision where BridgeMaker stands for. Right.
What I like to do is give a specific example of maybe one of your clients. Maybe obviously you don't have to mention any names, but maybe you can give us, let's say, an industry with a case study that you did and you say this is an example of innovation within a corporate.
We can disclose a name. So we're building a new fintech startup. It's a fine trader. We're doing that with the Berliner Volksbank together. And it's actually a year ago, the Berliner Volksbank approached us and said, okay, we want to have a new Volksbank to go mobile app, something like that. And then we thought, okay, this is a little bit vague, So think it on a broader level, because they want to broaden their client base, especially in the area where they are pretty good. So where they are it's their cash cow or it's their cash business. And then we as BridgeMaker started our own ideation. We talked with clients, for example, architects or also chefs or something, And they told us about their needs when it comes to like banking and banking accounts, something like that. And out of that, we founded then a new business model, kickstarted. It's sitting here on our campus, and it's pretty much advanced. Yeah.
Cool. Recently, I was invited to London to a conference by Huawei technologists, which was really interesting because the main topic was exploring innovation. Mm-hmm. And there were big banks like HSBC and all of the big players were there. And I asked them like what innovation means to them personally. So everybody has a little bit of a different understanding, and I would be really interested to hear what your thoughts are on innovation.
That's a good question, and I think you get thousands of definitions for that. First of all, most of the people mix it up with digitalization. Yeah. So there's a distinction for me between digitalization and innovation. And innovation means for me getting on new grounds, thinking out of the box, and really think about how can we use, for example, our current portfolio in a different way, approach different markets, approach different clients, for example, but also from a technical perspective, from the product side, how we can think it in a different way, getting a new business model out of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you look at all these different, let's say, big corporates that you're talking to probably on a daily basis, is there anything that you would say like, well, those are the main issues that they're facing, let's say, besides, let's say, the speed, that they would say like, well, that's what holding them back from innovating?
I think the most important thing for them is start to think in business models and in revenue models. They have great ideas, but they are mostly stuck in like process optimization regarding existing products. And they are not thinking about how can we really build a new business and how can we create new revenue for us.
To wrap up the show, I'm sure you also see a lot of like what's going on here in the startup scene. I started originally in Tel Aviv, and then I moved to Zurich, and now we're here in Berlin. So I'm super excited that I'm able to compare these different ecosystems. Yeah. Maybe you can give one or two short sentences about your impressions of the Berlin startup ecosystem, and maybe even a little bit critical what can be improved.
So if I compare that, and I've been to Zurich, Tel Aviv, and also Berlin as well, you have the biggest mass of entrepreneurs, and you have like a lot of people where they all think the same. You're finding like a lot of good founders and also entrepreneurial stuff. But on the other hand, they are all into that. And you have also like something really focused on the product. So it's, for example, if I compare it to Tel Aviv, it's much more focused on the product. It's much more focused on the technical development of something. So here you have also like a lot of people which want to build a unicorn. Sometimes avoid too hard working, something like that.
Right. Okay, good. Henrike, thank you very much for taking the time, giving us some insights into BridgeMaker. To everybody out there, thank you very much for tuning in today in today's startup show. I really appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.